to this webinar that we're presenting on an introduction to PLM and how you can use it to get value for your business. I hope you've got a cup of coffee as we go through this presentation to you. I guess I'm one of the only people on this webinar that's grey enough to actually remember the days when this is how product development was done. It was a large team of people working together in the drawing office that stretched on and on to produce the data pack that was necessary to design the products that the company was going to make and sell. Well, today things have changed a little bit, but it's still very much a game, a team game. In fact, an enterprise game is the team that plays this. So much the same as you've got different roles in any team sport, and everyone specializes in something, but people need to work together. So it is for product development. And one of the key things for this, though, is to actually be able to communicate. So if we look at this, it's the engineers that actually produce the data about the product that is going to be manufactured. But that on its own is no good unless, of course, you can turn those bright ideas into some physical product. So there's manufacturing involved, and you need to get that information across to the people who are going to make the things. But you need the bits and pieces to actually assemble or manufacture. And so people possibly in procurement come into that. And they also need to get information from the engineer. And then if we go further on in the life cycle of the product, we've got the people in the service departments. And they again need information that is going to allow them to show the customers how to actually maintain the products, or for their own technicians. So during the design process, though, it is not just a one-way process. What is important is that you get feedback from manufacturing. What changes should the engineers make so that the product will be more manufacturable? What alternative parts could possibly be used which might be cheaper to procure? And how could the design be changed so that the actual support operations are easier to perform? Of course, the person that really plays the most important role of this is the salesperson. He's the guy that comes up with the ideas of what the customer needs, of what the market needs. And so he starts off really the process by passing those ideas on to the engineer. But he needs to be kept informed as to what progress the engineer has made. So really, in a nutshell, product lifecycle management is a process that facilitates all of these different activities that take place throughout the lifecycle of a product. Now, product lifecycle management is not a new concept. These functions obviously had to be performed in the past, and in many companies, they are still performed in the way that they used to always be done. But now, with the use of digitization, it's possible to actually speed up and improve this process. So we can provide 3D drawings or models with dimensions, tolerances, finishes to the manufacturing people. And we can do this long before we've actually produced a drawing. This can be done directly off the model. When we go to procurement, procurement needs to understand the full bill of material. What are these things that need to be purchased, and what do they look like? With a PLM system, it's possible to convey that information far better than it was done in the past. And then finally, the production of assembly or maintenance instructions is so much easier now that you've got all of that definition of your product in a digital format. So the benefits of that really is that fundamentally you're able to reduce costs. Now, how do you do that? There are lots of different ways. One of them is reducing time that is wasted searching for information. How often do you know that it's somewhere, but you just can't find it? And when you find it, how do you know that this is the correct version? How do you know that this is the latest version? Redoing work. Someone has overwritten your work. You can't find something, so you need to actually redo it. What a complete waste of effort. And then part standardization. Why don't you just reuse some of the work that you've already done? Apply it on a different product, on a different variant of a product, rather than having to reinvent the wheel from scratch. All of these things help one reduce costs. And then, of course, the byproduct of this, and maybe actually the most significant thing sometimes, is the ability to reduce the time that it takes to get a new product to market. And it's not just time in terms of effort that is money, but as any marketer will know, the company that gets their product to market first or is able to follow very quickly on the heels of a market leader is going to capture a much bigger share of the market and be able to charge a price premium for what is presented to the market. So, to show you how all of this is done, I'm going to hand you over to Busi. She will run through more of the concepts as well as a demonstration of how this is practically achieved. I hope you find this worthwhile and valuable. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the PLM webinar. My name is Busi Mbelu, as Charles has just mentioned. I am the Senior Application Engineer for PLM Pre-Sales at Product One Solutions. Today, I will be the one who's running through the presentation, showing you how then the organization can improve their data management by stopping wasting time with inefficient data management. The session is being recorded. During the presentation, there is a section for question and for Q&A, where you are able then to ask any questions that you have. And then please look out for the poll that will come up, where you are required then to participate. The agenda for today's presentation, Charles has touched base in terms of what PDM and PLM is, but I will be going into detail in terms of those concepts. And then after that, I will address how PTC Windchill can actually assist the organizations around the challenges that they have when they're doing their data management. And then after that, I will be logging in onto the system, showing you the technical demonstration on how then the CAD tool from PTC, that is Creo, is working together with Windchill to assist organizations around the data management. Then after that, there will be the conclusion in terms of summarizing everything that I have covered. As I have mentioned, that today I will be detailing more in terms of PDM and PLM concepts and how then PTC Windchill can assist the organizations. There are a lot of capabilities or functionalities that PTC Windchill has, but then for today, our main focus is CAD data management. And I think it is important to firstly give a background in terms of what PDM and PLM is and the relationship between those two concepts. PDM is the business function, often within product lifecycle management, that is responsible for the management and publication of product data. PLM then is the process of managing the entire life cycle of a product, from inception through engineering, design, manufacture, and service of manufactured of all those products. And I think at this stage then, all of us are actually aware that everyday designers produce huge amounts of information, including their drawings and related data sheets. This information has to then be saved in a specific place where it is easy to find and modify. To facilitate this then, PLM has increased its benefits to companies. The difference between PDM and PLM are as follows. PDM is the specific type of product within PLM. PDM focuses more on managing the product data throughout the product's life cycle. The focus on PDM is mainly on managing the data and not controlling it. Managing then the data without controlling is about understanding that you do not necessarily know what is required and gaining insight through investigation. Within PDM, data control is often provided through version control or data deduplication. Data control means it is not necessarily possible to change any of the data. The purpose of PLM then not only manages all product-related data, but it also extends the benefits of PDM to support the whole business across the product lifecycle, with specialized applications from engineering, manufacturing, procurement, purchasing, suppliers, customers, sales, and service. PLM then becomes more effective when all the participants in the value chain are involved. Data is central in PLM, and the goal is to capture data in a manner that can be used to control necessary processes. At this next slides, I'll be going to detail in terms of how then Windchill can improve the product lifecycle management for organizations. Over a product lifecycle, from gathering requirements, working through various designs, going through the manufacturing process, and finally servicing products in the fields. I think there are things that are abundantly clear to most of us, that this process generates lots of data. This data can be in various forms, including documents, drawings, CAD designs that include parts, assemblies, and finished products. This also includes manufacturing work instructions, assembly and disassembly instructions, even service procedures after the product is manufactured and in the field. As I have mentioned, that this product data can be electronic or paper-based, 2D, 3D, or even virtual or augmented reality. The more complex the product, the more complex the generated data is. The longer the product lasts, the longer this data needs then to be stored, retrieved, updated, changed, or modified. PLM then comes in place in terms of it aims to properly and inefficiently connect all of this product data together throughout the life cycle, from its birth to its retirement. And I think now that I've mentioned what PDM and PLM is and the relationship between the two, I think there are things that come into our minds that some of the challenges most organizations experience around data management. In these slides, then I'm going to cover how data management challenges, how PTC, can resolve those data management challenges. Without effective product data management, many organizations have a somewhat chaotic environment with documents and CAD files that are sitting in many locations, where critical design information is managed or shared, is managed on shared drives or on multiple systems that make it difficult to find and hard to manage. This then results in data being lost and inadvertently overwritten, or users using out-of-date versions. The image that has just come up, then it does demonstrate to us that today companies can have difficult time with CAD data management. The result is that end users are often confused, or they even waste time trying to find things like, where is the right data, or which version should I use? And then the problem with those challenges is that they end up making manufacturing mistakes. They end up having conflicts in concurrent design environment. They are unable to find information. They are unable to standardize processes. And maybe also at the end of the day, downstream departments, they are also unable to access the data. And these challenges, they end up resulting in teams or users having to do some rework because of accessing wrong information. Time to develop new products gets being longer, and also time to do any change management or to manage change requests, it also becomes longer. And then, how does then Windchill assist in resolving those challenges? The image that has just come up, in comparison to the old process whereby you will not have a proper PLM system in place, effective product data management will lead to easily accessible information that is centrally managed, well organized, access controlled, and subject to best practice with standardized processes. And many of Windchill customers are managing millions of data records and terabytes of product data today using PTC PLM system. And just into going to take into detail on what PTC Windchill is. Windchill is a PLM solution suite by PTC with integral collaboration and control. This integral linkage enables several key capabilities that are greater than the product working alone. As shown in the diagram that has just came up, a manufacturer manages all their data in the PDM system. Here you can see a front-end loader and all its associated data, from requirements, data sheets, analysis, test plans, heterogeneous CAD models, etc. And all of these requirements are organized in the PDM system. This then is bringing along all the digital product data under control. But at this stage, you must be asking yourself, but how can one front loader system conduct all the front end activities for that specific equipment? Such as, how does it then enable what-if design investigations without clogging up and applying formal processes to activities? Invite external contributors to collaborate without giving them access to the entire PDM system. Perform project management project plans, milestones, and resource assignments. By adding an integral collaboration with Windchill, manufacturers can do all of these things. As shown on this image I've just brought up, one can create a collaboration space as a project. Note that then there is a general transition between these contexts in the diagram. That is purposeful, as data can easily flow across this single system. Anyone with access to Windchill can create projects, and these projects can be created to facilitate internal, cross-functional collaboration, as well as cross-enterprise collaboration. And depending upon these contributors' role, they will get access to specific portions of information in the project. And each contributor can add data to the project, as well as check in and check out information which then I will show you into detail on the demonstration. And this checkout and check-in information occurs during the collaboration process. So in the next section, let's take a look at how then we can focus more on the MCAD data management within Windchill. And what you see right now on the screen is actually the capabilities on how then Windchill can assist the organization regarding the CAD data management. One functionality that we have is CAD version or interaction control, which is used to manage CAD data throughout development. And this then assists in terms of reducing errors and incorrect version, making sure that you have access to the right and the latest version of information. There is an integration with CAD systems, that is your Creo, your AutoCAD, Solidworks, etc. And this gives access to PDM commands directly from those CAD applications for easy adoption. Then the other capability is advanced searching, which is a rich search capability that I will also cover on the technical demonstration. And then we've got shared data with non-CAD users for automated publishing of lightweight viewables for use by non-CAD users. Then the last one is managed concurrent design environment, which then is used for updating icons to indicate part and assembly status. This then assists to reduce design conflict in teams working concurrently on the same design. In the next session then, I will cover the demonstration. I'm going to log in as a product manager who is called PET. I will go and find a part that I need to work on, which then on that section I will cover the search capability I've just mentioned. I will then make a design change on a part that is still under design by checking it out and checking it in. And then at the end, I will compare an old version with a new version, showing you the capability that Windchill has the capability of keeping history of all revision or all work that has been done. All right. As I have mentioned that I'm going to log in as Pat, who is a product manager. And what you currently see now on the screen is a CAD data management tool by PTC, which is called Creo. And it is already integrated, working together with Windchill for data management purposes. And what we have, the minute you log in as Pat, the first thing that will come up are all the work tasks that has been assigned to you. As I have mentioned that on PTC Windchill, there are more capabilities in terms of assisting the organization for their technical data management. But then in this section or in this presentation, we are only covering CAD data management. So what you see now on the screen is the capability for workflows, where then users have the capability of getting work or tasks that have been assigned to them. But then this is not the focus for today. One thing that is important, I will also show you, if then we didn't have Windchill integrated with Creo, users will still go and access their data or documentation from their file explorer. But because we have Windchill integrated, we are then able to see the web browser from Windchill. Windchill is a web application that runs on any web browser, like your Chromes or your Firefox, etc. So the first thing I'm going to do, as I have mentioned, that there will be a part I am looking for. There is a global search capability on the top right, where then you populate the information or the data that you're looking for. And it might happen at times that as a user, you don't necessarily or remember what exactly the document number or the name you are looking for. So I will assume at this stage that the data that the part that I'm looking for, it contains a 242. But then at the end of the day, there is a product that I do my daily work on. And in this case, I will say that the product that I work on a daily basis with the part I'm looking for is called a snowmobile. So I can go to the parts, I can navigate on the snowmobile, I can click on folders, where then it will show me all the folder contents for that particular product. And because this is regarding designs, I will then click on the design folder and then go on the CAD data. But then you will see that the system, if I go and look for the part that I'm looking for, there is quite thousands or hundreds of objects that get displayed, and I may get confused in terms of what I'm actually looking for. And if you can see on the top right, I've got 910 objects. So there is a way where then I can limit the search or filter the search criteria for the data I'm looking for. So as I have mentioned, that the part that I'm looking for, I can remember that it does contain a 242 number. I will put those asterisks at the beginning and at the end to say that I need the system to retrieve to me anything that contains that 242. And then I click on search. You will see that the number of objects that gets displayed, they've decreased from 910 to 39 objects. And the system has displayed anything, regardless of what that object is. It might be an assembly, it might be a part, it might be a drawing, etc. But then I know that the main assembly that I'm looking for, it's the one that contains the 242 number. So what I can do at this stage, I can go then and edit my search criteria to say I am only looking for CAD documents. I select the CAD document and then I click on search. Once I click on search, I can see that the objects have at this stage as well decreased from 39 to 22 objects, but still I've got a lot of objects that are being displayed. And I know that actually the object that I'm looking for, it is an assembly. So there is a refined capability in Windchill whereby you can be more specific of what you are actually looking for. So I'll click on the assembly, and then you will see then now that the results that get displayed from 22, I have 12 objects. And I know that the assembly I'm looking for is the 10242-200 assembly with the version that is A3. For me then to view that assembly, I click on it. Can you give me 2 seconds just to have a sip of water? And then the system will display to me all the details regarding that assembly. And then for me to view the structure of that assembly, on how it is formed, I will click on the structure tab. Then one thing I needed to pay attention to, you will see that one of the capabilities that Windchill has is the visualization, which I have mentioned on the presentation slides. And one thing that is nice about this, even before I go to make the changes on the CAD tool, Windchill is able to display to me the dimensions of each and every part that I am busy working on. At this stage, I know that I want to make changes on this cube, but I do not know its number. Another thing that is nice about this is that when I click on any part on the visualization, Windchill selects it on the assembly structure. So you see the minute I clicked on this, 5341146 part has been also highlighted on the left-hand side. So once I have done this and selected the part I'm working on, I know that at this stage, I want to go and update the dimensions. The requirements is that I need to make this cube one of the dimensions thicker. So for me to do that, I can then go to Actions and select Open in Creo. All right, can you give me just a few seconds? All right, let me just go quickly and locate the assembly the way I have done it. Click on the assembly, view its information. All right, so as I have mentioned that the part I want to make changes on, it's this one, the 531146. So for me, before I can go to Creo and make the design changes, I right-click on it and I say View Information. And then what the system will do will then show me all the details of that cube that I want to make changes on. I needed to pay attention that the system is capable of showing us that, first of all, this part has been checked in, meaning that there is no person or a user who is currently busy with design changes. The last time it was modified by Pat, the product manager, and it was last modified on the 29th of November, that is yesterday. And another thing I want us to pay attention to, it's the version of this cube. The current version, it's on 1.3. The authoring tool, that is where it was created on, Creo, and it is a CAD document. And another thing I want us to pay attention to, in Windchill, we've got what we call life cycle states, where it keeps record or track of where a particular product or a part or an assembly is currently at, of which this one is currently under design. That is why then we are able to go and make the design changes. These life cycle states are customizable, meaning that should there be a requirement for an organization that has different life cycle states, these can be updated or accommodated for that particular organization. And you can also see that it also keeps a record of when it was created and who created it. So as I have mentioned, that now the next stage is for me to go and make changes on this cube. I will go there and open it on Creo. Then I will log in as Pat, the product manager. And then the system will bring it up. And then, as I have mentioned, that the requirement is for me then to go and update the thickness of this cube. You will see the minute I tell the system that I want to make the changes, the system reminds me that this part is still checked in, meaning that it does not allow me to go and make any design changes. So I need to click OK to say that I want to check it out. And once I've checked it out, it then gives me or allows me to go and make the updates I want to make. So what I'm currently doing now, I'm updating or increasing the thickness from 1 to 2. And once I've done that, you will see that it updates that thickness. I'm happy with the changes. I can then go and check this back in. I go check in. And then I will see that it's being checked in. And then what I'm going to do then at this stage, I'm going to assume that I have logged back out as PET. My day has ended. I went home. And then I come back tomorrow to work on the same part. There is a nice capability on Windchill, whereby then, if there is an item that you work on daily basis, you don't have to go and look up for it again. There is a recently accessed capability, whereby then I can say, I click on it, and then I go to 5341146. That is the part that I work on. You will see that then immediately when I bring it up, the last version that I had was 1.3. Now the version has increased. It has been revved up. It's no longer 1.3, but it is 1.4. And if we focus mainly on the history tab, you will see that then, as I have mentioned, that the system keeps track of the version history, whereby then you can see the last time before I did the design changes, the part was on 1.3. Now I have a version that is 1.4. It might happen that sometimes a user can go and access the 1.3 version. The system, should it happen that the version that you're accessing is not the latest one, the system will give you a warning to say that then you need to go to the latest version. Then I will go to the latest version, which is 1.4. And then I can see that is the latest version that I'm allowed to work on. Going back to the capabilities, that this system, this PLM system, gives you the capability of making sure that you are working on the latest and the right version. And everyone is accessing a single source of truth for any data that they are working on. So now at this stage, I'm done with the technical demonstration. I'm going to go back to my presentation. And as I have mentioned that I've logged in as PET, the product manager, I have found the part that I was working on. I've done the design changes and also have compared the versions of the data that I was working on. In conclusion then, I think most of us are aware that manufacturers have never needed real-time information sharing. That is, you all want to have access to a single source of truth, the latest and the correct version. They also need dynamic data visualization, which we've got it on Windchill, with the demonstration I've just done, where you can see the actual visualization of the parts or the assembly you are working on. And there is also the ability to collaborate. That is, you can work concurrently as the engineers or any team by checking out information that you want to make changes on. And should people still need access to that data while you're still working on, they can still be able to view it, but they will not be able to do any design changes, which then allows teams to work concurrently. We also have easy and secure data access for multidisciplinary and geographically distributed teams that are quality-focused processes and data that has a data-driven approach to manufacturing. Windchill is elevating how product development gets done. Windchill has an open architecture that enables easy integration with CAD systems, as I have mentioned, your AutoCAD, Solidworks, etc., and other enterprise systems, e.g. Microsoft Dynamics, including your IoTs, that is your Internet of your IoTs, providing a solid foundation for a product-driven digital thread. PTC's PLM system provides comprehensive out-of-the-box functionality and a highly configurable role and task-based apps. It expands self-service access of traceable product data to non-experts who don't typically use PLM, while avoiding over-customization and complexity. And that is it from my side.